Welcome back. If you have spent any time navigating the deep subcultures of the modern internet, you have likely encountered the pill terminology. What started as a sci-fi movie metaphor has evolved into a full-scale psychological framework governing modern relationships, gender dynamics, and identity. For years, the online space, especially the manosphere, has been locked in a fierce ideological war between two major factions: the ambitious, tactical world of the Redpill and the bleak, fatalistic world of the Blackpill. But today, we are going to look past this duality. We are going to explore a profound, Sufi-inspired antithesis that transcends both of these internet dogmas. A philosophy born out of the ashes of worldly desire and resentment. Welcome to the Ashpill Doctrine. Before we can understand the sanctuary of the Ashpill, we must first dissect the two toxic, exhausting extremes that make it so necessary. Let's start with the foundation of the modern manosphere, the Redpill. At its core, the Redpill is a global philosophy that attempts to explain modern dating, social dynamics, and relationships through a purely biological, evolutionary, and pragmatic lens. The Red Pill states that the romantic fairy tale society teaches us, what they call the Blue Pill, are complete illusions. Instead, it argues that the real world operates on a ruthless, hyper-competitive matrix governed by sexual market value. At the dead center of the Red Pill lies hypergamy. This is the evolutionary drive where women naturally seek out male partners who are financially, socially, intellectually, and physically superior to them. The doctrine applies the acronym AWALT. All women are like that. It claims that regardless of culture or upbringing, all women are driven by these subconscious evolutionary mechanisms. According to this framework, a man's value is built over time through status, wealth, and power, peaking between ages 30 and 40. Conversely, a woman's value is tied to youth and beauty, peaking between 20 and 25. Past the age of 30, women hit what the philosophy terms the wall, where fertility and physical attraction decline rapidly. Men are divided into alphas, who command immediate sexual desire and leadership, and betas, who are passive, protective providers. When a man is selected solely for his money and resources without genuine desire, the Red Pill labels him a beta bucks. Unlike what comes next, the Red Pill is not nihilistic. It tells the modern man, do not cry about the system. Learn the rules, enter the arena, and maximize your value. It commands men to build a strong emotional frame, becoming a stoic, unshakable rock that refuses to be manipulated by emotional tests or shit tests. It pushes them to develop an abundance mindset by dating multiple people, a practice called plate spinning, to avoid falling into the trap of obsession, or onitis. In short, the Red Pill is a motivational, high-stakes gladiator game. It tells you to build an empire, look like a king, and dominate the market. But what happens when a man looks at this ruthless competition and decides he simply cannot win? That is where the darkness of the Black Pill takes over. If the Red Pill is an exhausting war, the Black Pill is total unconditional surrender. Popularized within radical internet subcultures and incel communities, the Black Pill is the most pessimistic, fatalistic, and nihilistic philosophy on the web. The Black Pill utterly rejects the Red Pill's belief in self-improvement, status, or charm. It argues that human relationships are dictated strictly by biological determinism. Your social success, your quality of life, and your romantic potential were decided the day you were born by your DNA, specifically your height, your facial bone structure, and your hairline. They claim that in the era of social media and dating apps, the top 80% of women are only attracted to the top 20% of men, the genetically flawless archetypes they call chads. The remaining 80% of men are essentially invisible to the world. The Black Pill states that concepts like good character or inner beauty are complete myths. Because of the halo effect, a person with flawless genetics is automatically perceived by society as smart, trustworthy, and kind. They believe even an average woman holds infinite options and absolute power in the digital dating market due to constant online attention. Meanwhile, the radical bone pill subset argues that true attractiveness boils down to microscopic skull symmetry, jawline angle, and eye socket depth. While the red pill shouts fight, the black pill whispers give up, the casino always wins. It advises its followers to adopt LDAR, lie down and rot. Stop going to the gym, stop reading self-help books, and accept your genetic doom. The only action the black pill condones is hard maxing, undergoing extreme bone-smashing plastic surgeries, jaw realignments, or limb-lengthening operations. If you cannot afford that, your only option is to numb the pain with video games, anime, and internet echo chambers. It is a system built on deep-seated resentment, fatalism, and absolute despair. So we are left with a horrific choice. Do you become a hyper-aggressive, constantly stressed gladiator fighting a never-ending war in the red pill arena? Or do you lock yourself in the dark, resentful genetic prison of the black pill? There is a third way. When you take the red pill's worldly desires and the black pill's raw emptiness and filter them through the ancient wisdom of Islamic mysticism or Sufism, you arrive at the threshold of the ash pill. The ash pill does not throw fuel on the fire of your desires like the red pill, nor does it let you burn alive in the angry fires of the black pill. Instead, it asks you to step into the fire willingly, let your ego burn away, and sit in total beautiful neutrality with the remaining ash. Let's look at the foundational concepts of this doctrine. The first rule of the ash pill is to completely abandon hatred, blame, or worship directed toward others. The red pill sees women as a constant hypergamic threat or a game to be solved, turning men into exhausted gladiators. The black pill curses genetics, turning biological reality into an object of pure rage. According to the Ashpill Doctrine, men and women are neither enemies nor sanctuaries. They are simply the actors of spiritual evolution on this earthly stage. A woman's hypergamy or a man's urge for power are merely biological software. An Ashpill practitioner does not get angry at a program. People are neutral mirrors, acting out their nature so your soul can complete its cosmic test. Traditional mystics ran away to caves or mountains. The ash pill introduces the practice of absolute isolation while standing right in the middle of a crowded metropolis. It means walking through the modern marketplace of social media, dating apps, and hyper-consumerism, seeing the massive inflation of ego and value, but refusing to be a buyer or a product. You are present in body, but mentally detached. Those who follow this path are known as the ashers. Linguistically, this carries a brilliant double meaning. In Old English, an asher is a worker who clears away the ash from a furnace, safely clearing out the debris of worldly passion. In Hebrew, asher means blessed, happy, and content. The ultimate title of a master of this philosophy is an asher, the silent sage who sits quietly, neutrally, and peacefully in the ashes of the ego's fire. But don't mistake this for laziness. The ashers do not practice the black pill's rotting defeatism. Instead, they operate on the doctrine of neutral action. The manosphere is obsessed with looks maxing. To an asher, the body is not a currency to trade in the sexual market, nor is it a genetic cage. It is simply a temporary worldly dress, a libas lent to the soul. Borrowing from the Islamic scholar Sayyid Nursi, ashers practice Tahdeeth-e. This means presenting and taking care of the blessings given to you by the Creator without pride or arrogance. An asher eats and manages his grooming only at a minimalist, essential level. He does not waste his life chasing extreme physical perfection or obsessing over vanity. He exercises only as much as needed to maintain vitality, eats merely to sustain his body, and practices basic grooming out of simple necessity. He does not do any of this to raise his SMV or sell an image to the world. Instead, he maintains this bare minimum out of quiet respect for the divine art displayed on his physical frame. When he looks in the mirror, he sees neither a Chad to boast about, nor an incel to weep over. He sees a temporary, simply maintained masterpiece of the ultimate artist. While other pills view money as a weapon to attract women or exact revenge, the ash pill views wealth purely as a shield. An asher works with excellence and earns well, but the money stays in his wallet. It never enters his heart. Financial freedom is used strictly to escape the modern mechanisms of debt, manipulation, and stress. allowing him to retreat safely to his peaceful Asher corner. They seek neither the sleep of the blue pill, nor the worldly war of the red pill, nor the angry darkness of the black pill. They are those who have passed through the fire and turned to ash. Men and women are neither their enemies nor their sanctuaries. They are merely actors of evolution, helping to carve their souls. They live in the middle of the world, yet they are entirely free from it. They are the Ashers, and their station is the ashes. Stop fighting a war that cannot be won. Stop rotting in a prison that doesn't exist. Let the ego burn, find peace in the neutrality of the ash, and become a modern-day mystic in the digital age. Thank you for watching. Walk in peace, Ashers.